Tonight, talking cars in the capital.
You know, we build cars well together.
Auto executives are in Ottawa today to talk trade and tariffs as the sector voices its concerns over the state of auto manufacturing in Canada. Plus, a repeat visit.
People are on edge right now because of it. If they smell anything at all, they're certainly going to say something.
Officials are back in Wheatley investigating a second gas leak report inside a week. And an Ontario-wide tour.
Windsor's success is Ontario's success.
Ontario's NDP leader takes a two-day swing through Windsor-Essex as part of a province-wide summer session.
CTV News with Stephanie Mazzotti.
Good evening. Stephanie is off. I'm Ricardo, Veneza. Two women have pleaded guilty and have been sentenced for obstruction of justice in a city homicide. Court learned, however, neither woman knew they were helping a man wanted for murder. Joining me now with our top story tonight is our Michelle Molesky. Michelle.
Ricardo, this is all in relation to a fatal shooting this past winter on Wyandotte Street in front of the old Water World. Around 7 o'clock in the morning on January 27th, 53-year-old Sean Shewart was shot and killed out front of H4, Windsor's homelessness and housing help hub. Court learned today, less than an hour after the shooting, Colleen Cloutier and Alethea Carver, both 49, worked on a plan to collect a winter coat and a toque for an acquaintance. He said the police would be, quote, definitely looking for these, as they were thrown near an apartment building right behind that crime scene. Carver helped create the plan to collect the jacket, while Cloutier went with the young offender to get it. Both women told the court today they had no idea what the young offender did with the coat after they found it, and neither woman had any idea this was all a piece of evidence linked to the shooting. Regardless, both women pleaded guilty today to obstruction of justice. They were sentenced to time already served and put on probation for 3 years. Plus, in an unusual move admitted by the Crown, they must tell Windsor police where they are going to live should they decide to move in the next 3 years. Court also learned today Cloutier and Carver had just met the suspects involved in this shooting a few days before. The prosecution alleges the suspects were selling drugs in the city. Ricardo?
Okay, Michelle. So are there any other people before the courts for this particular case?
Yeah, Ricardo, you'll recall 1 week after the shooting, police tracked down and arrested two suspects more than 5 hours away in Peterborough, Ontario. A 16-year-old young offender who cannot be identified has been charged with being an accessory after the fact to murder, while 19-year-old Muhammad Topin is facing a charge of first-degree murder. Those charges have not yet been tried in court. Ricardo?
Okay, Michelle Molesky tonight. Thank you for that. A Chatham family is grieving the loss of a young child that was struck by a train very early Saturday morning. Police say the child was hit around 1:10 a.m. near Kyle Drive and suffered critical injuries. Despite efforts of first responders, the child was pronounced dead at the scene. A 56-year-old Windsor man is charged with aggravated assault after someone was badly injured in Tecumseh Sunday night. Ontario Provincial Police are asking anyone who may have been in the area of Arlington Boulevard and Hayes Avenue between 7 and 8 p.m. on June 29th to come forward, including those who may have any surveillance footage from the area. Police say the person was hospitalized but haven't provided an update as to their condition. Police say a senior was in hospital after being stabbed outside his LaSalle home yesterday. Police say the 83-year-old man was stabbed on Canada Street just after 4:30 p.m. He is in stable condition in hospital. Police say a 40-year-old woman who he was reportedly in a relationship with is facing charges of aggravated assaults and assaults with a weapon. Well, Windsor police are looking for two suspects after they say a man and woman abandoned a stolen vehicle downtown on Olette. Police say the vehicle was stolen from a home on Ellesmere Avenue in the Ottawa Village area. It was abandoned shortly after 9 a.m. on June 20th. The first suspect is described as a white man, about 30 years old, with dark hair. He was wearing a gray sweatshirt, black pants, glasses, and black boots. He was carrying two black backpacks at the time as well. The second suspect is described as a white woman, also about the same age, with blonde hair in a half-up hairstyle. She was wearing a white sweatshirt, black pants, and white shoes. She was carrying a large blue bag, a white purse, a small purple backpack, and a black backpack. Anyone with information is asked to call Windsor Police or Crime Stoppers. Well, the Prime Minister is sitting down with key players in the auto sector today as the industry faces a major hit from U.S. tariffs. CEOs of Stellantis, Ford and General Motors are all in Ottawa, meeting face-to-face with the federal government as concerns grow over the potential economic fallout. CTV's Mike LeCouture reports.
Inside the Prime Minister's office, Mark Carney huddled for an hour with the Canadian CEOs of GM, Ford, Stellantis, and the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association. When it was done, François-Philippe Champagne said little about the discussion.
We had a very good meeting talking about the industry, and we've been very, very clear. We're always going to be there to support the workers and the industry.
He refused to say whether or not the federal government will keep the electric vehicle mandate. By next year, 20% of new passenger vehicles sold in Canada must be either battery-powered or hybrid. It was something car makers clearly wanted to discuss ahead of the meeting.
EV mandate itself is not sustainable. The targets that have been established cannot be met, and that will be part of the discussion.
Those in the industry say EVs currently account for 9% of total sales. And if they fall short, Flavio Volpe says it's the car companies that pay.
And to sell regular combustion units, they've got to buy a credit from some company that's earned it or spend $20,000 per unit on charging infrastructure.
On top of that, those same car companies continue to deal with 25% tariffs from the U.S. Now, there is a carve-out for components that are built in America through the integrated supply chain. Still, Canadian auto exports in the U.S. fell by 23% in April.
They make 6 or 7% a year of profit. If there is a tariff in for 5, 10, 25%, it makes those operations untenable.
According to a readout from the Prime Minister's office, the meeting also looked at ways to make Canada's auto sector more sustainable and competitive in the face of shifting trading relationships, something that could be more urgent if Canada isn't able to strike a trade deal with the U.S. in the next 19 days. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, that brings us to our question of the day. Do you think these talks between the federal government and auto manufacturers will benefit Canadian auto workers? Yes, no, or you're not sure. Those are your options that you can vote on over at our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Now, on Monday, we asked if you were celebrating Canada Day. Of about 800 votes, 55% said no. Well, let's go to CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald now for our first check of the forecast. Joining us. Gary, what do we have in store for folks in Windsor, Essex this evening?
Well, I think that there is a chance of some shower thunderstorm activity. There is and have been warnings across extreme, or at least watches for potential activity late through the afternoon and now into the evening. I think the risk is relatively low, less than 30%, but it's there. We are looking at scattered showers moving across parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, and now into southern Ontario. Most of it, the worst of it I've seen of late over Lake Huron. But we'll get into some light rain, I think, between now and 8:30. Will there be embedded thunderstorms that could elicit a warning? We'll have to wait and see as the weather rolls in. I'll break down where the temperatures are headed as we look towards Thursday, Friday, and even the weekend. That's just ahead. For now, I'll send it back inside to you.
Okay, Gary, thank you for that. Well, another unsettling moment in Wheatley. For the second time in less than a week, emergency crews were called downtown for the strong smell of gas. This one, the same area where hydrogen sulfide was detected just a few days earlier. CTV's Chris Campbell joins us now in Wheatley with the latest on this second investigation. Chris.
Ricardo, it's a familiar situation for those living in this small town, a community that has dealt with dangerous gas leaks before, including one that led to a major explosion nearly 4 years ago. This time, no evacuations were ordered, but residents still have plenty of questions and concerns. A Around 5 o'clock on Canada Day, a strong odor was noticed near the Wheatley Library by a passerby who quickly called for help. Within minutes, emergency crews were on scene.
This was exactly what we were asking for. We asked people if they smelled gas or if there was any issues, they should call us, and that's exactly what they did.
It's the second time gas was detected at this location in 5 days. The source is still under investigation, but experts say it's likely connected to old oil and gas wells below the surface.
We always say that we get paid to worry so you don't have to, which I don't think would be fair for the people in Wheatley who are living with this concern, this obvious concern. As you've heard from us, from the province, this is a major issue with over 20,000 known wells in Ontario.
So this legacy is going to haunt us for generations to come as we find these old wells that are undocumented, one after another. And Wheatley is just the most recent example of this process.
For residents like Ron Shaw, who lives in town, the reappearance of gas, even in small amounts, is unsettling.
People are on edge right now because of it. If they smell anything at all, they're certainly going to say something. We'll just have to wait and see.
The moment you smell rotten eggs, there's an issue. But the good thing is that our noses are extremely sensitive, and we can detect rotten egg smell down to less than 1 part per million.
Chatham-Kent Fire and Rescue says public safety remains a top priority. Officials are still determining if the Wheatley Library will reopen as planned on Thursday.
We will work to deal with this specific well. We'll work to either put a stack on it or to permanently close it as the investigations continue. But I think this is something that we will be planning for and living with for some time, for smells of gas and potentially finding unknown wells or wells that are leaking, and be able to deal with them without causing too much concern to the community and without causing too much disruption. But we always err on the side of caution.
Emergency crews remained on site overnight and continued through the day today monitoring the situation. While gas is no longer being detected, there's still no final word on what caused this latest leak. However, I just learned word that the library will not reopen tomorrow. Ricardo?
Okay, Chris, thank you for that. Good to see that officials were able to get on scene quickly there. On CTV's Chris Campbell tonight. Well, the Ontario NDP leader and leader of the official opposition is swinging through Windsor, Essex on a 2-day tour. Marit Stiles says her focus is on trade and workers' rights. And as you can see here, Robert Lothian joining us tonight with more on this. Robert, what can you tell us about Marit Stiles being in the region today?
Yeah, Ricardo, well, Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles is calling this the All in Ontario tour. Making the rounds today, Stiles toured Windsor picket lines and talked unemployment with business leaders.
One day longer! One day stronger!
Joined by more than 100 union members, Marit Stiles took aim today at government negotiators.
Every day longer is a day that the government is trying to divide you, right? Is trying to weaken you.
The NDP leader standing alongside striking workers. Canadian Hearing Services workers have been on the picket line since April, and WSIB staff since May.
It's actually disgusting what our CEO is doing, what the board is doing, and how they are treating their employees who have just been doing a stellar job at servicing the deaf.
Unions are unconfident a deal will be reached anytime soon. Stiles wants to see the province step in.
I am appalled that the government hasn't, gotten involved and said, get back to the table and get a fair agreement with these workers.
Earlier in the day, Stiles met with business and union stakeholders, talks focusing on strengthening the labor market in a region plagued by high unemployment.
The situation was already not in a great place, and the potential and the anxiety around what's to come is very real for people here.
Business leaders pitched ways to improve the labor force. A major barrier, according to employers, remains limited public transit.
Because people, as we said, need to be able to get from point A to point B. And when we're talking about a lot of the workers that we're talking about here today are not people who are necessarily going to be able to afford a vehicle to get somewhere right away.
As she continues to tour, Stiles is calling for regional job strategies to help chart an economic path forward. This is part of a summer-long tour for Marit Stiles. It continues tomorrow in Dresden at a rally against the highly controversial Bill 5, which paves the way for a dump just outside of the town there.
Yeah, certainly a controversial topic, one that I think politicians would like to continue to focus on. Okay, Robert Lothian tonight. Thank you for that. Well, staying on job action, workers at the Best Western Plus in downtown Windsor have now been on the picket line for more than a month.
The workers are very disappointed that this employer hasn't come back to the bargaining table to address their need.
About 37 workers walked off the job on June 1st after failing to reach an agreement with their employer. According to the union, the employer is offering just under $19 an hour. Workers previously voted overwhelmingly against what the company described as its final offer. Union President Emil Nabout says he wants to see the company back at the bargaining table.
My message is very clear to this employer that our members are very determined to stand here as long as it takes, and they have all the support from the labor community, from my local union.
Well, Canada Day celebrations saw flags waving, music playing right across the country yesterday. In downtown Windsor, a spirited show, that's what I'm trying to say here, of Canadian pride was on display as thousands turned up in red and white, of course, for the annual Canada Day parade. Now, this year, the parade made its return to the city's core, bringing energy, color, and community pride back to Olette Avenue. And our CTV camera was there to bring you the sights and sounds of the action. Both guilty and not guilty still ahead on Windsor's news leader. The verdicts in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial. And experts confirm it a twister touchdown north of London. Coming up, the damage left behind in what officials are saying now. And tomorrow, Tecumseh hits the gas on a major milestone. New transit buses are ready to roll this July. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6. A bombshell verdict in the high-profile trial of rap music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. After 13 hours of deliberation, the music industry icon was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering, but convicted of prostitution. CTV's Adrian Gabriel has more on Combs' fall from grace and what happens next.
Waving and smiling, the Combs family exited this New York City federal court. As protesters came face to face with supporters of Sean Diddy Combs, emotions running at a fever pitch, just moments after the jury delivered their split verdict.
Let Puffy go! Let Puffy go!
Delivered on the third day of deliberations, the jury of 8 men and 4 women declared the 55-year-old Combs not guilty of 1 count of racketeering, conspiracy, and 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, but guilty of the lesser charges of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs, who's already been incarcerated for 10 months, could still face considerable prison time. At sentencing, each of the prostitution transportation charges carry as much as 10 years behind bars. While Combs' lawyer declined to comment,
saying something soon.
Multiple criminal law experts are declaring today a victory for the former hip-hop mogul.
It's absolutely a win. The defense took a really big gamble going to trial on this case.
The prosecution called 34 witnesses to the stand. multiple ex-girlfriends, including singer Cassie Ventura, who claimed that Combs forced her to engage in sexual encounters called, quote, freak-offs and hotel nights. Jurors watched this 2016 hotel video of Combs dragging and kicking her. Ventura's lawyer stopped short of calling today a victory for his client.
We're pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. He still faces substantial jail time. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is a high standard.
With this decision, Combs avoids a possible life sentence. Moments after the verdict was read out, his family began to cheer in the courtroom as the one-time music star appeared to fall to his knees in prayer. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Washington.
Now, rapper Kanye West has been barred from entering Australia, where his wife is from, over a song that praises Adolf Hitler.
My officials looked at it again once he released the Heil Hitler song, and he no longer has a valid visa in Australia.
Australia's Home Affairs Minister says West's new song promotes Nazism, and the controversial artist's visa was therefore cancelled. The song in question has been widely condemned and banned on most music platforms, including Spotify and SoundCloud. Well, parts of Mexico's Pacific coast are feeling the effects of Hurricane Flossie. While the path of the Category 2 storm looks like it will remain offshore, outer bands are pouring rain on parts of the coast. The storm was downgraded today from a Category 3 and is expected to weaken further as it moves northwest off the Mexican coast. Tornado research teams from Western University have spent the past 2 days in Lucan assessing damage from the recent storm. With damage to crops, farm property, and trees, it's being assessed as an EF0 scale storm and the second official tornado in Ontario this year. CTV's Brent Lale reports.
There's some markings in the crops here. Tornado went through, left a very clear path. You can see it really well from the drone. Also, there's trees here that had big branches snapped.
A research team from the Northern Tornadoes Project is assessing the damage from an EF0 tornado north of London.
It was the loudest sound I've ever heard.
Brenda Hawkins and her family have a big cleanup ahead after the tornado went through her farm property.
You can see back at the tree line there that's where it went through. Lots of tin from the old barns that was a little bit loose that just gathered. I thought for sure the whole thing was going to be going. But yeah, there's a little bit of cleanup.
The tornado quickly came through Lucan Monday afternoon. Some residents are questioning why a weather alert wasn't sent out before the storm.
To be perfectly clear on the timeline, the funnel cloud was spotted at 3:25, and Environment Canada didn't put out the notification to 3:49. It was over and done with. So we can only notify on our social media channels if we have the alert from Environment Canada.
In a perfect world, every single tornado that happens in Canada, would have a warning beforehand. Hopefully one day we can get to that, but it is quite difficult to do that for these weaker events like this one. So would it be nice if this one was warned? Absolutely, and hopefully we reach something close to that one day.
In their early assessment, the researchers believe there could have been more than one tornado. They will take their evidence back to the office to analyze. And while they do their work, officials in Lucan think there's lessons to be learned.
The next time our emergency control group gets together, we'll kind of talk about what happened and the timeline and what was in our control and how we can serve our residents better in the event that we're faced with another weather emergency.
Before then, the Hawkins family will begin picking up the pieces left behind. Thankful it missed their home and other barns.
It could have been a lot worse.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Sobeys parent company, Empire Company Limited, has become the first retailer to sign on to Canada's new Grocery Code of Conduct. The code is intended to promote fair dealings between grocers and their suppliers. That includes penalties and fees in an effort to bring more transparency, fairness, and predictability to the industry. The plan is to have full implementation by January 1st. All of Canada's major grocers have had confirmed support for the voluntary code, but this week marks the opening for formal registrations. Dairy product maker Lactalis Canada has also signed on as the first supplier member of that code. A canned food giant Del Monte has filed for bankruptcy and is looking for a buyer. The 138-year-old company announcing it was voluntarily entering Chapter 11 and is going through a sales process for all of its assets. The company blames declining consumer demand that led to increased costs for surplus inventory. Well, Canada's main stock index finishing slightly higher today, up 13 points. You can see there for the TSX, the down slightly, 11 points, while the Nasdaq climbs 190 points. The Canadian dollar up 0.1 cent today to rest at 73.41 cents U.S. Gold up almost $10 an ounce, and a big jump for oil, $2 a barrel more to the good. 45 years later, Terry Fox blue Adidas shoes are making a powerful comeback. Coming up, a limited edition to honor a powerful legacy.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot in keeping with Canada Day festivities. Thank you, Lori, for sending in this great image. Just ahead, will showers and thunderstorms threaten this evening into tomorrow morning? We'll find out next on CTV News Windsor.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Okay, Gary is back with a look at his extended forecast. And Gary, the cloud cover there indicative of some storm activity we're tracking in the region.
You're right about that. Severe thunderstorm potential is the story for the late afternoon, now into this early evening. Severe thunderstorm watches, meaning potential, have been in place. We could be in and out of watches and warnings, meaning imminent thunderstorm risk and danger. Gusty winds, torrential downpours, frequent lightning, and the like throughout the region. Reach a high of 30 degrees today. Our average high is 27. It has been warmer than seasonal for the last week and a half. Add to that the humidity, it makes it feel even warmer. So humidex values will make 29 and 28 respectively in Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent. Feel closer to about 35 in Windsor, 33 in Chatham, Kent. A mixture of sun and cloud, but some of that cloud thickening up, especially as you look to the west and the southwestern horizon where you are in extreme southwestern Ontario. The prairies are warming up. Calgary's at 30 degrees, 29 in Regina, 28 in Winnipeg, into northwestern Ontario, Thunder Bay, Kenora, Dryden, about 26, 27. That warm air is in movement. It's advecting, a meteorological term just meaning it's in transport from point A to B with certain characteristics. Now, this air to the north is a little bit drier than the air that's more buoyant and moist with energy over the Great Lakes coming from the south. And that stream of warm air that's already been in place could be triggered for those showers and thunderstorms with the cooler air and drier air coming from the west. The two clash, and often we get an eruption in the form of thunderstorms, hence the watch and warning potential tonight. So, scattered showers possible. Thunderstorm activity definitely possible because of the elements involved here, and the atmosphere is quite buoyant, somewhat electric, if you will, if I can use that term, to suggest that there's instability. And with electricity, obviously, we are referring to the threat of thunderstorm activity. It's there. We are warm through 8 o'clock. 25 feels like 31, 22 feels like 28 through 10. Will clear out and be calmer through the overnight. And looking at 30 degrees tomorrow, mostly sunny. It will feel like 35. Sunny Friday, Saturday, 29, 32, and then 32, 29, 29, and 27. As we go through the weekend, Sunday, likely to see showers and then a recovery. Sunny from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Let's look at your weather this hour, courtesy of Sal's Heating and Cooling.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
In British Columbia, first responders recently got together to highlight the need for specialized treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. CTV's Pauline Chan brings us the stories of those on the front lines sharing their firsthand experiences.
They are the people who protect us from war, from crime, from fires. But how do we protect them?
It would feel like I was about to be sick, nausea.
Jonathan Williams was in policing for 12 years, and he loved it, but the job took its toll.
You can't really get away too far because you're in a marked police car and you're in a uniform and you're expected to act. But I would find a cul-de-sac or some safe place and bawl my eyes out. And that's when I knew I couldn't, I wasn't able to control it.
We have first responders from across the country and from different areas, fire, police.
During a recent symposium in Kelowna, BC, the focus was on the specific needs of first responders.
It doesn't meet the needs, and we cookie cutter everything.
Former OPP officer Laura Kloosterman calls the situation devastating, and not just for first responders, but also their families. And it's costing lives.
Suicide in first responders and public safety personnel is an epidemic. It's astronomical. And the people that are not overtly dying, it's the installment program. They're killing themselves with drugs and alcohol.
She points to the need for specialized programs.
You don't want to spend the first 3 days of any kind of treatment program just telling people what you do. It has to be the fact that they understand trauma.
The trauma that they encounter during a week of their time being on the job is probably what the most individuals will encounter during the lifespan. So that's a unique group.
In fact, for those needing residential treatment, many first responders get sent to addiction programs, even though they have no addictions. This traumatic stress recovery program in Kelowna was the first place Williams felt safe talking openly about his PTSD.
I'm not always the one that's protecting everybody. I can let my guard down.
Derek Shanko of the Diversified Rehab Group says there's also organizational stigma to worry about.
I may lose my badge, I may lose my job, I might be suspended.
He says the unique needs of first responders are slowly being recognized.
Not necessarily spending or asking government to spend more money or any other organizations, it's just removing the barriers, the silos, so we can work together.
For many, the aim is to build a new mental health routine and return to the job they love. Jonathan Williams began singing as part of his therapy, but he's now left policing, diving fully into music, with the confidence that he will be okay. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Well, after 45 years on from his marathon of hope, Canadian icon Terry Fox's blue Adidas are coming back. He wore those shoes, of course, during his inspiring run, and Adidas is releasing a limited edition replica of those famous shoes to honor the Canadian hero. And as CTV's Josh Smith tells us, sales support the cause.
A replica of the Adidas Orion shoe worn by Terry Fox during his historic 1980 run will soon be available for purchase for a good cause. It's a product 20 years in the making.
Actually 2005 when the first shoe was released. It was quite amazing to think that what powered the man across Canada had never really been noticed or seen.
Back then, Adidas agreed to make a limited number of pairs which sold out in stores in one day.
Which sounds like a long time, except back then you had to go to the store to buy it.
I think that they're iconic.
Colin McQuaid is a co-founder of the Greater Moncton Running Club. He's excited for the release.
Everything about them has that special meaning when you look at the Terry Fox running. I wonder what it would be like to have run in those shoes.
The Terry Fox Foundation says you don't have to be a runner to find inspiration in the shoes.
I went through 3,000 miles of training before I even got to St. John's. And in that time, I went through losing toenails and shin splints, bone bruises in my feet. Everything's a bit easier than it would be if I hadn't trained so hard. I don't think I would have made it to Halifax.
I think that there's something about that shoe that represents absolute perseverance, determination, sheer force of will. And I think that's what, whether you're an athlete or not, that's kind of what we all need in our lives.
The Terry Fox shoes will go on sale Thursday morning on the Adidas website, with all the proceeds going towards cancer research. Josh Smith, CTV News, Shediac, New Brunswick.
Live music under the stars coming up on Windsor's News Leader, where you can enjoy free summer nights with the Windsor Symphony.
Pure Country 89.
93.9, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
Dish soap is a kitchen staple, but it can do a lot more than just wash pots and pans. The best brands can tackle all kinds of messes, but as Pat Foran reports, there are some chores that are better left to other products.
Dishwashing liquid is a cleaning workhorse that doesn't just tackle your dirty dishes. Got hair dye on your skin? Grab a small amount of baking soda and some dish soap. Need to clean your makeup brushes? Dish soap's got you. Just add 1 part olive oil. It even works wonders to reduce condensation on windows, stop squeaky doors, and clear out a clogged drain. It can also kill those pesky bugs on your plants.
A few teaspoons of dish soap with water in a spray bottle works as a gentle and effective insecticide.
With so many brands and formulations, which one works best on their main job, cleaning dishes? Consumer Reports says there is one standout choice.
The editor's choice was Dawn Ultra Dishwashing Liquid. Its rich suds have kept it ahead of the rest for years.
While dish soap is great for hand washing dishes, it should not be used in your dishwasher. Also, some TikTok suggests using dish soap to brighten your laundry and remove oil stains. But Consumer Reports says this can end up causing problems for your machines.
Using dish soap in a washing machine or dishwasher might seem harmless, but it creates way too many suds. And that can cause leaks, poor cleaning performance, or even damage to the machine over time.
Dish soap is not designed to use on fabrics the way laundry detergent is. A few drops as a spot remover is okay. Just make sure not to use too much, as it can be hard to rinse out. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Oh, grab your picnic basket and lawn chair. The Windsor Symphony Orchestra is offering a free outdoor concert series perfect to pair with a blanket or maybe a lawn chair. Well, summer concerts in the park are being held at various venues in Windsor and the county between July 18th and the 26th. The first 3 are in Windsor on July 18th in the Windsor Sculpture Garden at the foot of Bridge Avenue. That is set for a 7 p.m. performance. Then on July 19th at 1 p.m. at Ojibwe Park, followed by a 7 p.m. performance at Rion Park. The last 2 are in Essex County, July 20th in Amherstburg and July 26th in Leamington. If live jazz is more your speed, the inaugural Electric Avenue International Jazz Festival is making its debut July 4th and 5th. That's this weekend. You can experience world-class jazz, soul, and blues in Via Italia and the Electric Avenue Art Alley. Well, Canadian cinema is taking center stage in downtown Detroit with the Windsor International Film Festival crossing the border.
There was a gentleman on the phone. He said, well, you're the heir to Jackie Shane. And I said, well, who is Jackie Shane?
2 acclaimed Canadian films, Any Other Way, the Jackie Shane story, and The Humanist Vampire will be screened in a free cross-border collaboration. The free outdoor event will be held at Campus Martius Park on July 17th. That starts at 7 p.m. It's part of a growing partnership between Windsor and Detroit, highlighting shared culture and unity. Campus Martius will also serve as a satellite viewing venue during the first 2 days of the annual Windsor Film Festival in October. And we want to hear from you. Do you have a comment or question or maybe a great idea for a story? Well, you can send that to us by text. You can also send us photos or video. The number for that, 10400.
Unscripted, unpredictable, and unapologetic. Wake up with Hannah and Johnny on 93.9 Virgin Radio.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. The Port Windsor Jazz and Arts Festival is coming to Sandwich Town Sunday, July the 6th. Experience the sounds of 11 bands, 60 musicians, Juno Award winners, and it's all free. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner joining us. And Melanie, you've got details for us on a major residential development that's planned in Chatham-Kent.
That's right. The property was originally planned to be a home improvement store, but York Developments is now looking to build a new residential development. It will feature 774 units in 4 high-rise towers. They will be 12 to 14 stories tall. The project has 2 phases and requires amendments to local planning policies, which Council is expected to consider this summer. Mayor Darren Caniff calls it a sign of Chatham-Kent's growth and attractiveness for investment. Further approvals are needed before construction can begin. We've got more on the development at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Okay, well, it looks like an exciting project for Chatham-Kent, Mel. We're going to stay in Chatham-Kent with a story about a police chase that I guess ended up in a cemetery.
Yes, police say a 71-year-old Blenheim woman was suspected of impaired driving. When she refused to pull over, police deployed a Stop 6, surrounded the vehicle, and the woman allegedly refused to exit and was seen smoking marijuana. Officers smashed a window, arrested her, and charged her with impaired driving and fleeing from police. You can find more details on that story on our website. And in our social spotlight tonight, just some good old boys never meaning no harm. This Kentucky town erupts as a stuntman speeds through the street in a Dukes of Hazzard replica vehicle, successfully launching over a fountain in a high-flying, crowd-roaring stunt that left more than 35,000 fans cheering for more. Ricardo, I think Bo and Luke would definitely approve.
Yeah, I feel like that fits right into the world of the Dukes of Hazzard. You know, they're playing pretty fast and loose with safety regulations. That seems to be the case there.
Yeah, no kidding. People were very close to that stunt.
Yeah, a little bit scary for me. Okay, Mel, thanks for that great video, though. Hey, they did the jump. That's fantastic. That's a look at what's happening now. Well, up next, an Edmonton area man turning heads and brightening communities, all from his longboard. When we return, why his moves caught the attention of local police.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
All right, yeah, overcast for much of the day. Gary joining us again for a wrap of the 7-day forecast. We've had some breaks of sunshine, but we do have this threat of some maybe severe thunderstorm activity in the region.
You're right, severe in the nature of some heavy downpours, some gusty wind, and tonight into tomorrow, we're still looking at that watch potentially being extended in. Intermittently, certain areas could see that change to a warning, meaning imminent. It's happening now. Do take cover. Tomorrow's a better day, more sunshine, although the UV index is rated at 10. 30 will feel like 37 after some fog dissipates. Will be mostly sunny, and then sunshine's the theme for Friday and Saturday. 29, 32, 32 on a rainy Sunday. 29, 29, and 27. More fair weather Monday, Tuesday, especially as we head towards next week.
Yeah, summer has not disappointed on the warmth.
That's true.
It's bringing it in spades. Okay, Gary, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll leave you tonight, folks, with this story of an Edmonton area man who has been entertaining drivers from his longboard. He's been so flash, he's caught the attention of local police. CTV's Merrick DeCash has more on what motivates his moves and how officers have responded.
I got some pop, got some house, techno, EDM, drum and bass.
Caden Skelton has been dancing on his longboard almost every day for 2 years.
During the winter, I was out here. I was maybe missing like 2 or 3 days a week. During the summer last year, I was out here. I only missed like a day every week.
He dances on the corner of Baseline Road and Sherwood Drive. In June of 2023, his life flashed before his eyes.
Board flew up, head smacked on the ground, basal skull fracture, nearly severed my carotid artery, blew my right eardrum, severe moderate brain injury. There we go.
Less than a month later, Caden was back on his board, this time with a helmet on and tunes blaring in his ear.
People started talking about me on Facebook groups, saying how much I helped them or their kid with something. You know, they're going through something, and just seeing my joy and my smile, you know, and my energy, and it just brought a smile to their face.
One of the many people Caden has made smile is Constable Corey Kornicki.
As I do my patrols through Sherwood Park here, I see him all the time on the corner, and you can't just not smile when you see him.
One day, Kornicki and his partner pulled up at the intersection with an Oilers jersey in hand, a gift for Caden.
Caden's out on the corner, dancing, just making so many people smile. I don't think he even realizes how many people he makes happy.
His first Oilers jersey and a new outfit for game day.
Because that Officer Kornicki, he gave me that jersey, it has really solidified my trust in the police here in Sherwood Park.
Skelton says he is in for the long haul and will certainly still be moving when the Oilers start again next season. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Sherwood Park.
There you go. Yeah, a nice little reminder that, hey, we can just loosen up a little bit sometimes, you know, when we're out and about, just, you know, throw some moves.
Throw some
every
moves
now and
in,
then.
that's right.
I do it on the bike every now and then. You're bopping along. You just kind of want to, you know, just feel the vibes.
Flashy on the
two-wheeler. That's it. Well, hey, he's a good example there. That's right. What we'll leave you with tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
I'm Ricardo, Veneza, and for everyone here at CTV on both sides of the camera, have a great night. We'll see you again tonight at 11 for a late look at local news.
Good night.